class, we're going to cover 9.ICR.1.3 content. And this objective is all about how you respond to conflict. Of course, and you want to resolve. Conflict is a natural, unavoidable thing, sometimes uncomfortable thing of life. We kind of talked about it a little bit in the past objective, but we're taking it to further detail this time because here, the problem with conflict is as we have it, and if it's not resolved, it can get blown way out of proportion. Things can get misunderstood, misconstrued. People go in different directions. So you want to make sure it is solved in the best way possible. So the easiest way to go through this is to review. We have a PowerPoint, and then I have a basically cheat sheet, PDF sheet at the bottom under the PowerPoint that I'll go over with you in just a second. But of course, this is about, like I said, going over, this is just a random quote about violence kills so many Americans and sends many others into the healthcare system that we must consider a public health problem. Reducing the incidence of violence is a major priority of our nation. We must pay attention to the forces that fuel the violence so that we can keep it from happening rather than simply taking care of the consequences of the violent acts. Of course, that's just talking about violence prevention and a way to prevent violence. But to solve conflict, this is the different styles. So when you use competing, that means you are pursuing your own goals and seeing conflict as a contest. Basically, like one person wins and then one person loses. So if you compete, you're trying to win your point of view, win your way, and it doesn't matter what happens to the other one. Next is avoiding, and that's basically not addressing the conflict. Sometimes when people tend to avoid, the situation can get way worse later down the road instead of handling it to begin with. But avoiding is not addressing the conflict, neglecting your own needs and the needs of others, and basically it's a no-win situation. It's because the situation has not been handled. Next, we have accommodating, and that is giving into the wishes of the other person. Now, sometimes accommodating can be just the easiest thing, but it's technically a lose-win because one person's giving in and then one person is reaping all the benefits or taking that win. Like I said, accommodating sometimes can just be the easiest thing to make a situation move on, but if it's constantly the same person accommodating, the same person giving in, it can make the situation worse in the long run. Next, we have compromising, and that's where you're going to try to satisfy some of the needs of each person. Then we have cooperating, and of course that is satisfying as many needs as each other can, so it's a little bit better than compromising. And then collaborating is the best way to deal with conflict because that is fully considered a win-win because it's fully satisfying your needs along with the needs of others. So, of course, like I said, that's the PowerPoint on it. And then this, if you click on this ways to resolve conflict, it drops down to a menu PDF page, and you can just see. I would suggest pulling up this worksheet or this sheet when you do your assignment because the assignment is a quiz that goes with this assignment, with this content, and that is basically a matching to decide what, I'll show it to you right here. You're going to, like I said, you and your sister share a room. She has been on the phone for 45 minutes. Talking to her best friend who has a fight with her parents. You want to be sympathetic to your sister, but your friend is you want to be sympathetic to your sister and her friend, but you promised your friend that you would call her back by 8 p.m. It's now 7:55. So you're going to identify the conflict. So like, for example, the conflict would be your sister's on the phone, and then who would be involved in the conflict. Of course, it would be you, your sister, your friend, your sister's friend, for that information. So if you have any questions, there's only 5 of them, so make sure you write in complete sentences, and if you have any questions, please let me know.